What's going on, guys? It is Rinne-Hatake here, back with another video, and today I got What If Deku Was a Kryptonian Part 2. Part 3 will be out very soon. I just gotta focus on other what ifs that I'm gonna be doing pretty soon as well. So yeah, hopefully you guys do enjoy this, and if you don't mind, leave a like and subscribe. And with all that being said, cue the intro. Would begin where I left off. Deku would have made it into UA High, and was extremely excited. As he made his way in, he noticed a black-haired girl with a ponytail, looking quite nervous. Deku, being a nice guy, would decide to help her out, and Deku would approach the girl and introduce himself. "Hi, sorry to bother you. My name is Izuku Midoriya, and I couldn't help but notice that you're quite nervous. Would you mind telling me why?" He'd say with a honest smile. The girl would turn to him and reply nervously, saying, "Hi, my name is Momo Yaoyorozu, and I'm a little nervous. And the reason is because I decided to decline the recommendation exams to do this exam." As Izuku would proceed to listen to her and decide to cheer her up a little. And this would work, making her forget her nervousness. As after that, Deku would say bye, or would say goodbye, and leave his number with her as he walks inside. As Momo, who for her first time talked to a guy, well, without being flustered. So yeah, she got a little flustered after realizing this, and she just put the phone number in her pocket, and she would also enter the building. They'd proceed to do the written test first, as Deku and Momo would pass with flying colors, no problem. As President Mike would make his way to the stage, like in canon, he would explain the practical test. And after he explained, they'd all head outside and go to their specific cities or locations. Deku being in City B, Momo would also be placed in City B. As they would make their way there, Deku would see Momo at the front of the group and would decide to try to cheer her up again, because she seems a little nervous, but not as much. But Izuku would be stopped by a boy with glasses. That boy being Ida. Ida would reprimand Deku, telling him not to distract that girl and not to ruin her chances at entering UA. Deku would have had enough of this psycho robot guy and his rambling, and decide to fly off, entering the city before anyone else. People would start to complain about this, but President Mike, through the intercom, would tell them that that kid has the right idea and that they should hurry up and go through the gates, as there is no countdown in a real battle. The gates would swing wide open, and they would all rush in. Deku, who was already inside, would have already destroyed all the robots. Or not all of them, but all the robots that he needed, securing himself the top spot easily. So, instead of destroying robots for himself, he would decide to help out others who were struggling with their own robots, using his insane speed, strength, durability, and etc. Using his abilities, right? This would help him gain hero points. But meanwhile, the teachers who would be watching this were pretty shocked, as Izuku already had 100 villain points in less than 5 minutes, and he was helping others out, and he was also gaining hero points, which no one has been able to get yet. So yeah, Aizawa was impressed as he was watching the screen. He turned to Nezu and would say, "That kid is most definitely being in my class, Nezu. That kid is most definitely in my class." Nezu would begin telling him that this Izuku is incredible and has incredible potential, but let's see how he fares against this, as Nezu would press a button and would end up releasing the 0-pointer. In the city, the ground began to rumble as the building shook. Deku, who had just finished helping someone out, would notice people running away from a specific direction. As Deku would check this out, as he would notice a girl who was trapped under some rubble and was about to get crushed by the robot. As seeing as everyone else was running away, Deku's hero instinct would, fly in immediately. So, in an instant, Deku would, fly in as fast as he could, knowing that this robot really can't hurt him since he's kind of invincible. Well, yeah, kind of invincible. But yeah, he'd fly towards it and would throw a punch square in the robot's head, sending that robot flying. Deku, with a single punch, would send the robot to He would send the robot to the back rooms. The robot was sent flying. The people and the teachers who were watching this display of power were in awe. Izuku's insane superhuman strength and abilities are so cool, as they would all think. But Deku, on the other hand, would fly over to the girl, realizing it was Momo. So he would quickly remove the rubble and take her to Recovery Girl. Once there, Recovery Girl would inform them that nothing was broken and it was just a sprained ankle. Momo would be relieved at the news and turn to Izuku, or Deku, thanking him. He'd tell her no problem, and that's what heroes do, right? Giving her a big smile, and this smile would melt Momo's heart, as she would turn beet red. Recovery Girl, watching these two, would say, you two are so precious, aren't you? As she would think on back to the old days when she would do the same thing to others. Or would remember the time when others would try to flatter her too, as when she was in her younger age, My bad. But yeah, we move from this. Both of them would go beet red. Deku would turn around, saying, "I'll be off then." As he was about to leave, Momo would stop him and ask him if he was free on Saturday, because if he was, they should go down to a cafe that had just opened down the street recently. Momo would say this while still flustered. Deku would turn to her and accept her offer as he would head off back home. On his way home, he would still be flustered, remembering how the most pretty girl he had ever seen had just asked him out. But yeah, we move. The letter accepting Deku would finally arrive, as he obviously made it into UA with the highest marks anyone had ever seen. And yeah, we move from this. The first day of school had finally come. As Deku made his way to class a little early, he would decide to sit near the back and stay quiet, noticing Aizawa was sleeping, and he really didn't want to disturb him. So yeah, he'd sat in the back. He would just open a book and decide to read it while he was waiting for the class, or his classmates. He wouldn't have to wait very long though, since after he arrived, other people from his class would start arriving slowly but surely. They would notice him in the back as they recognized him. He was the guy who sent the zero-pointer flying. They would all crowd around his desk and keep on asking him questions and pestering him. He wouldn't really mind it at first, but then it started to get really annoying. The class would start filling up as Bakugo and Ida would finally arrive as well. But on arrival, Bakugo would start yelling at Izuku, asking how that useless nobody got here. Ida would interfere, but this is when their sensei had enough of their bickering. He would come out of his sleeping bag and tell everyone to go outside and put on their uniforms, or their sport uniforms, right? As Deku would be the first to listen. People would question Aizawa first, but in the end they would still listen to his instructions. Once they were outside, Deku was called up. As Aizawa would call his name, he'd say, "Izuku, come to the front. Since you came first in the exam, throw this ball using your quirk as hard as you can." Aizawa would say lazily, "All right then," Deku replied. As he would proceed to throw the ball, sending it to the stratosphere, everyone would be shocked, especially Bakugo, not realizing that there was this much of a big difference in their power, or such a big gap between them. So after this, everyone thought it was fun and games. Aizawa would silence the thought as he would say, "Whoever comes in last will be expelled," giving them a serious look. Everyone would then put on their serious thinking caps on and take the test very seriously. Deku would still pull a Saitama and win first place in every event and category. Everyone else would win the same positions they did in canon, but we move. Few days have gone by, and Deku would enjoy his school life, especially because of Momo, because Momo was there. And then, one specific day, it was time to do hero training. Aizawa would announce this to the class, but tell them that he will not be their supervisor for this test, as loud footsteps can be heard through the hallway, as suddenly the door burst open. I am here, walking through the door like a normal person, a loud, charismatic All Might would say, as the class would shout, All Might,